I still talk to my mom about this story to this day. You guys aren't going to want to miss this. So, in my childhood home that I grew up in, I shared a bedroom with my older sister, Michelle, who a lot of you have seen on my TikTok. And we had like a bunk bed, but we would, if we didn't stack them up, we would put them, on either side of the room. And the room was really small. So it was like our bed, a little nightstand in the middle, and then her bed on the other side. So we were really close, always hanging out, always playing together. Now, just to give you a little bit of backstory, this house was actually moved from Detroit, Michigan to the town that we were living in, which I don't want to say for obvious reasons, to give away where I'm at. But there were talks of it being in like a really scary kind of rundown place and things or whatever. But when we first moved to Michigan, this was the house that my dad could really only afford. It needed a lot of work. It wasn't the greatest house, but it was our childhood home. Anyways, moving on. One night we both go to bed, everything's fine. I fall asleep, and then I wake up in the middle of the night and I see a shadow in the right corner of the bedroom. And it's shorter. It's like the size of a child. And I can make out the shape of a little boy. I can tell this is a little boy, even though he doesn't look like a human. It was basically like a shadow, but you could tell he was a boy. He had short hair and kind of boy-like clothes on or whatever. I was so paralyzed with fear. If you've ever been in that situation where you're so scared, you can't move, you can't talk, you can't do anything, that's what happened to me. I sat up straight. I couldn't call for my mom. I couldn't wake Michelle up, even though she was sleeping right next to me. And finally, I was able to say, "What is your name and what do you want?" Now, keep in mind, I was probably 6 at the time, and I had never seen anything like that. I've never experienced any kind of spirit or demon or angel. To this day, I'm still not sure what that was. I just know that I was frightened to death. The only thing that he said to me, yes, he spoke to me. He kept saying, "My name is Robert. My name is Robert." And I just sat there and stared at him and was in such a panic. My heart was racing. My body was sweating. I will never forget this. Eventually, it was like he just kind of dissipated. He went away. And I stayed in bed for the rest of the night with the blankets over my head. I was too afraid to even get out of bed to go tell my parents because I thought he was going to come back. I never did see him again after that day. But I did see other angels and spirits outside of that same house. So if you guys want to hear that story, I'll share those too. Let me know in the comments.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
So in 2015, my then boyfriend and now husband went down for a long weekend to Orlando. I lived there for a while, so I still have friends in the area. He has friends that have settled in the area since college, so we always have people that we can go and see and, visit them at their houses and do dinners and whatnot. It's always a good time. So we went down for, I think it was a long weekend, this particular trip, like a Friday to a Monday. We were staying at a hotel locally, like on International Drive or something like that. And after a day at one of the theme parks, we went to meet up with one of his buddies who at the time was managing a bar maybe 20 minutes away from the Lake Buena Vista area. So we drove out to the bar, excited to see him and, where he works and check out the bar and everything. And we were there for maybe an hour. It was probably pretty late because if I remember correctly, we stayed and watched the fireworks at 9. So we probably got to this place at like 10:30, okay? Saturday night, maybe Friday night. So we get there. It's great, good times, have a drink or two. He closes up. We're the last ones in there, as his like guests. And we go down like 2 doors to another place that was like bigger and a little bit more hopping. And it was fun. We probably had a drink there, maybe 2. We weren't there that long though, because it was like, we wanted to hang out and we wanted to talk and everything. And that place was like, it was wicked loud. So he was like, well, why don't we go back to my place? No one's there now. It's all closed up. You know what I mean? Like everyone will be like away from it. We can like just go right back in and settle down at my place. So we leave the second place we went to. We go back to his bar. He unlocks the door, lets us in, locks it behind us. And it was cool. It was like, couches and chairs and plush furniture and think like Central Perk, but like with alcohol, right? So it was very homey. It was very chill. So he put some music on the over system, and there's maybe 5 or 6 of us. I think it was him, his girlfriend, me, my then boyfriend, now husband, and one of my friends from the area. So 5 of us, okay? And, a little bit after being there, I had to use the bathroom. So he directed me where to go behind the bar and how to get to the bathroom in the back. So off I go. And walking to the bathroom, I came like this close to bumping into a woman who was in like one of the back rooms on my way to the bathroom. So I very quickly was like, oh, like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize anyone else was here. Like, I'm sorry. I almost bumped into you, whatever I said. And she kind of just like side-eyed me and then kept walking through the doorway that was to my left. So I was like, all right. Went to the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, didn't see her, went out to where my husband and our friends were sitting. And I said to our friend that was the manager there, like, I think I like maybe irritated or like I annoyed like whoever the lady is that's working late back there. Like I almost bumped into her. And like he was like, what are you talking about? So I just sort of repeated myself. Like when I was going to the bathroom, the blonde lady back there, I almost walked into her and I apologized, but she like didn't really seem like she cared to hear me out, like not a big deal. I didn't realize anyone was going to be back there. And his face went white, and was like, I can't believe that you just said that, because, there have been like reports and people have said that they've seen a ghost in the bar at different times, different people, different patrons, staff members, and they always say it's a blonde lady. Did you see her close enough to know what she was wearing? And I was like, well, yeah, but now this person was as clear as I am right now. Like it wasn't like a phantom, it wasn't a shadow, it was another human walking by me, right? So I said, yeah, of course I did. Like she walked by me. She was wearing a blue cardigan, a blue sweater, like a fitted cardigan, and a blue skirt that had like a floral print on it. She's really, really long blonde hair. And he was like, I can't even believe it. Like people have been saying this. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like who would haunt the bar? Like who, you know what I mean? Like whatever. But how would you know that people have been saying that for however the last many months or year or whatever, however long people had said they started seeing her? So my husband was kind of laughing because this isn't my first experience with spooky stories. We'll leave it at that. I've had a few spooky encounters in my life. And he was just like floored. And, we let it go. We finished out the night. He cleaned up, what little mess we had made while we were there. And then we went on our way. But I still think about it because he was very much like, oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to see it. Like, why would you want anything to do with that? But I still to this day am like, who is she? What? Why is she in the back room of your bar? Did she work here? Does she like you? Like, what was this building before it was the bar? Like, I need answers. And he was like, you're not getting them. You're never going to know anything more about this. And it freaks me out that you saw her to begin with. And so yeah, that was my encounter with the very pretty blonde-haired ghost in Orlando.